The following is the video solution from JSDT Solutions. Question 2 says, in a geometric series, the sum of the first n terms is given by Sn equals, and we have k times 1 minus 1 over 2 raised to the power of n. Okay, so it multiplies by all of that. And the sum to infinity of the series is 10. Okay, and they want us to calculate the value or values of k. So they tell us the sum to infinity is 10. That's probably the main point of this, because you see the sum to infinity is the only place now we can actually get an equation that'll help us solve for k. So remember that sum to infinity equals a over 1 minus r. We have the sum to infinity, so we have a value to put here. We just need to find a and r, and we'll have a full equation, and it will probably be in terms of k. So we need to find a and r. R is easy to spot because it's whatever has the exponent, okay? It's always going to be like that because it is the ratio, okay? Whatever is carrying the exponent, that's going to be what you're multiplying to get to the next term. But you need to always make sure that it is raised to the power of positive n, okay? If it's a negative n, here's what I mean. If it was 1 over 2 raised to the power of negative n, there's a little bit of adjustment you need to do here. It needs to be raised to a positive exponent, so that is what you're multiplying by to get to the next term. So in this case, you would have to take that n out as a common factor in the exponent, and you're taking 1 over 2 and raising it to the power of negative 1, and you're saying times that exponent of n. Then if you apply this here, this would be 2 raised to the power of n, okay, there's that n outside. And so this has become 2. So that's what I mean by that. It needs to be raised to the power of positive n. So I can see here straight away, r is equal to 1 over 2. I can also see now that to find a, all we have to do is, it's the sum of series they gave you. If you had to find the sum of one terms, okay, it's just one term, that would be the first term, and that is a. So that's what we can do here as well. Just find the sum of the first term. So s of 1 equals, we say k, times 1 minus 1 over 2 raised to the power of 1. Okay, we're trying to find the first term. And then raised to the power of n. Okay. And then, yeah, it's just like that. So this is what we have. The sum of the first term, aka the first term, is simply equal to, this will become a half. 1 minus a half is a half. And then times k is just a half k. So this is a half k. And that is our first term. A is a half k. So we have a, we have r, we have the sum to infinity. We can find this. Okay, so I'll just rewrite this formula here, saying the sum to infinity is equal to this. And we know the sum to infinity is 10. Okay, so we'll say 10 is equal to, and a is a half k, and we have 1 minus r. So 1 minus our ratio is a half. So 1 over 2. So this is 10 is equal to, and we have a half k. 1 minus a half is a half. So we're dividing by half. You can just use tip and times. So you tip this, swap the numerator and denominator, and then times, change the division to a multiplication. See that here, 2 and 2 would cancel, and you just have 1k times 1, which is just k. So k is actually equal to 10, and that is our answer. Moving on to the next question. Then the next question says, calculate the second term of the series. Okay, despite the fact that we don't really have, the Tn formula, we have the Sn formula. But the Sn formula is very useful, and we can actually just use it to find all the other terms. Here's the thing. You see, let's just rewrite it, right? Sn equals, and we'll just substitute k, okay? That's 10. So this actually says 10 multiplied by 1 minus a half raised to the power of n. And here's what we can do. To find the second term, okay, to find a term in a pattern, look at how you can do this. If you have the sum of the terms, you can actually do this. The sum of two terms is made of term 1 plus term 2. So if you wanted to find a term 2, just take the sum of one term, which is just term 1, and you could just say, okay, sum of two terms minus the sum of one term. And then that's just going to be, you see how you're taking the sum of two terms, which includes term 1 and term 2. Term 1 and term 1 will just cancel. And you're left with just term 2. And that's how you will find the second term. So that is the formula. we can just say, to find this, we'll just say the sum of two terms minus the sum of one term. That will give you the second term. Okay, this will always work like that. If you wanted to find, for example, the third term, you take the sum of three terms minus the sum of two terms. Because here you know you're going to have term 1 plus term 2 plus term 3. And then here you know you're going to have term 1 plus term 2. If you're saying all of this minus this, whatever is common will cancel and you will be left with term 3. Okay, so that's how that works. And this is what we're going to do. So to find the second term, and so this is 10 times 1 minus a half raised to the power of 2. Okay, so I'm saying the sum of two terms. So that's 2. And then we're going to say minus, and you're saying minus the sum of one term. So in place of n, we substitute 1. So that is 10 multiplied by 1 minus a half raised to the power of 1. And we would find our answer like this. I'll just find them separately first. So that's going to be 10 times 1 times, 1 minus a quarter that's 4 over 4 minus. So that's just going to be 3 over 4, right? So you have 3 over 4 there, and it multiplies to the 10. 10 and 4 have 2 in common, so that's going to be 5 there and 2 there, meaning 15 over 2 is what you have here. So 15 over 2 minus, and we'll just do the same there. And then we have 10 multiplied by, so this is going to be 1 minus a half, which is a half, and then 10 times a half is 5, so this is 5. Okay, so 15 over 2 minus 5, and term 2 is finally equal to, let's see, you can rewrite this with a denominator of 2 by putting it over 2, so times 2 like that, and so that's going to be 10. So that's 15 minus 10, which is 5, and the denominator stays 2. And there we go. Term 2 is equal to 5 over 2 using this method. Okay, and that is our answer, and that is it for question 2.